Khaotic releases a scathing diss track in Season 12, Episode 16 of Scrappy. In the constantly changing world of reality television and hip-hop culture, there are few things more shocking as when a musician goes on stage and performs a caustic diss track that is directed at another famous personality. In Season 12, Episode 16, there was a moment that sent shockwaves through both the VH1's love and hip-hop world and the larger hip-hop community. Khaotic, the up-and-coming rap star who is known for his unedited ideas and raw energy, has produced a diss single that is aimed directly at Scrappy, who has been one of the show's stars for a long time. The tune, which is full with harsh words and angry phrases, targeted Scrappy's persona both on and off the screen, marking a new chapter in the long-running drama between the two. The stage is ready, the background of Scrappy and Khaotic. For those who may not be familiar with the details of love and hip-hop, Atlanta, the conflict between Scrappy and Khaotic has been developing for a long time. Daryl Reynard Richardson, too, better known as Scrappy, is a well-known personality in the hip-hop and reality television industries. He has been a regular on the show since it first started. He is known for his street credibility, his difficult connection with his mother, and his on and off romance with Erica Dixon, who was his childhood sweetheart. Khaotic, on the other hand, is a newcomer to the scene, making their entrance into the love and hip-hop realm with a much more straightforward approach to the spotlight. He rapidly became a memorable character due to his demeanor, which was defined by its boldness and lack of remorse. He walked in with a lot of energy and didn't hold back when he expressed his opinions on a wide range of topics, including the music industry, relationships, and of course, the other members of the group. Scrappy, a veteran in the industry, has frequently had disagreements with newer players like Khaotic, who do not fully fit into the traditional narrative of hip-hop popularity. Khaotic had always been open about the fact that he was not afraid to express his opinions, but it was not until Season 12, Episode 16 that things really reached a boiling point. The period in question included a number of fights and confrontations between the two men, which ultimately led to Khaotic's daring decision to create a diss track aimed at Scrappy. The diss track drops, a moment of reckoning. As the story progresses, the audience is shown the increasing conflict between Khaotic and Scrappy. What begins as a conversation quickly escalates into a serious argument. Khaotic, who is not one to sugarcoat his ideas, thinks that it is time to settle the score in a way that only a great artist can, through music. The diss track, which was ultimately called Scrappy Who, was released on the airwaves shortly after the program was broadcast. Khaotic was clearly trying to make a strong impact with its powerful sounds and aggressive lyrics. The single was an immediate success with both fans of the show and hip-hop aficionados because of its unyielding energy and incisive critique. Khaotic was prepared to claim his place in the industry, even if it meant treading on a few toes along the way, and this was a clear indication of that. Khaotic establishes the mood with phrases that are both sharp and brilliant from the very first stanza. He quickly brings up Scrappy's on-screen character and points out what he believes is the hypocrisy of Scrappy's image. The tune is full of insults directed at Scrappy for not being authentic, and Khaotic does not hesitate to challenge his rival's credibility on the streets. Khaotic makes it plain that he is not impressed with Scrappy's status as a seasoned hip-hop figure when he says lines such, "You a king on TV, but a joke on the street." Khaotic is portrayed as the fresh voice of the streets in the diss track, a person who is not scared to speak out against the veterans of the industry. Khaotic also goes into great detail on Scrappy's personal life, mentioning his disastrous relationships and his ongoing difficulties in finding stability. Khaotic's statements put another layer of stress between the two guys, regardless of whether they were true or simply aimed to make the situation worse. Khaotic's depiction of Scrappy as a man who was having difficulty keeping his personal story in check struck a chord with fans who had seen the ups and downs of Scrappy's relationships, both on and off the screen. But Khaotic's diss track is more than just a series of slurs. It is a declaration. The lyrics show a man who believes that he is not being treated with respect. He sees himself as an underdog in a society where people tell lies and put on fake personalities. The single is a call to action for everyone who feels ignored or pushed to the side in the hip-hop community. Khaotic's unfiltered style and bold approach connect with his audience, making them feel empowered to challenge the standards and expectations imposed by the industry and reality television. Scrappy's response: the art of retaliation. Scrappy found out about Khaotic's diss track in no time at all. Scrappy had kept his feelings regarding the new cast members on Love and Hip Hop to himself, but the release of the track made him feel like he had to say something. Scrappy did not avoid the difficulty as he always does. Instead, he confronted it directly, taking advantage of the platform that the show and social media provided to address the situation. Scrappy's response was a combination of frustration, resolve, and humor. He sent a series of mysterious messages on Instagram and Twitter about remaining focused and not allowing the controversy to affect him. However, even though Khaotic appeared to be cool on the outside, it was obvious that his words had hit a sensitive spot. As Scrappy got ready to retaliate, the fans were on the edge of their seats, wondering if he would take the mic and engage in a diss track fight, or if he would just let it go. Scrappy did, in fact, release his own song, Don't Get It Twisted, in the weeks that followed. This song was a response to Khaotic's first attack. On the other hand, Scrappy's tune was more restrained than Khaotic's harsh and unrepentant attitude because Scrappy took the time to think about the personal elements of the conflict. Scrappy's song was less about insults and more about his reputation as a veteran of the business. The lyrics question Khaotic's place in the industry. Although the single contained a few subtle barbs at Khaotic's image, it was evident that Scrappy was trying to take the high road by portraying Khaotic as a novice who was simply hungry for attention. However, even if Scrappy's reaction was well thought out, Khaotic's tune remained to be the main topic of discussion. Fans were left wondering if Scrappy's more modest approach would be enough to quiet the increasing buzz about Khaotic's outspoken manner. However, it was evident that Khaotic had established himself as a significant player in the hip-hop industry, gaining the admiration of fans who preferred authenticity to polished performances. The aftermath: how the beef affected things. The diss track from Khaotic had a quick and powerful impact, sending shockwaves through the Love and Hip Hop franchise and the larger hip-hop world. Khaotic's track helped him establish himself as a person who was willing to go against the norm in the culture. He quickly became well known on the show, but he solidified his status as a bold and opinionated performer with the release of Scrappy Who. Khaotic's bravery was praised by fans on social media, and they asked for more from the newbie. At the same time, Scrappy's reputation continued to be mostly unblemished. Scrappy's standing as a veteran and respected figure on Love and Hip Hop protected him from the full impact of Khaotic's words, which, without a doubt, wounded. Scrappy's more measured response was seen by many fans as a sign of maturity, and some even praised him for his ability to remain calm when faced with a direct challenge. However, there were those who believed that Scrappy's failure to retaliate in a major way made him appear weak when compared to Khaotic's blazing enthusiasm. No matter who won the war, the diss track and its consequences were a significant moment in the careers of both men. Khaotic, who had mostly been seen as a novice to the sector, demonstrated that he was able to disrupt the established order. Scrappy had to come to terms with the idea that he was no longer the most important person in the Love and Hip Hop universe, but he did so while still keeping his dignity. The conflict between Khaotic and Scrappy is an example of how hip-hop culture is constantly changing and evolving. Khaotic's brazen approach provided a new viewpoint on hip-hop, which has always been based on competitiveness and rivalry. It served as a reminder to both fans and performers that the genre is not solely about the music, it is also about the tale, the battle, and the characters that characterize it. Conclusion: Khaotic's victory, Scrappy's reflection. Khaotic has made a lasting impression as the dust settles from Season 12, Episode 16 of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta. His diss track was more than just a dramatic event, it was a declaration of his intentions. Khaotic's announcement made it clear that he was going to stick around, for better or worse, and that he was prepared to make a name for himself in an industry that lives on controversy. Scrappy's fight is far from finished. Although he may not have acted as aggressively as Khaotic, the reflection that followed the diss has made him rethink his own place in the game. It is yet unclear whether or not he will choose to pursue a deeper relationship with Khaotic, but one thing is certain, the conflict between these two individuals is far from settled. The future of love and hip-hop, and the broader hip-hop community, may rely on how they continue to handle the complicated links between celebrity, authenticity, and competition. Ultimately, Khaotic's diss track was more than simply a musical attack. It was a defining event in both men's careers, a monument to the power of music as a method of expression, and a reminder of the explosive, unexpected nature of the hip-hop scene.